LB checking in, man. Keep it locked in, but in between the lines with Coach Stella, you feel me? You did.
Game of the week gonna be Glenville at Hoban on Friday night, but we're gonna do a little bonus coverage this week.
What?
We're gonna do a little bonus coverage.
We bringing
this
bonuses?
Week. It's Thursday night, so it fit the schedule. It's the home team, Warren G. Harding. So anytime we could get over there without compromising our game of the week, we're gonna do that.
Indeed.
And we've been wanting to see Mooney now all year, so I think it's a perfect time. We got Thursday night. We got Mooney at Warren G. Harding. Mooney 5-2, Harding 3, and 3-3 coming into the game. Mooney coming off 3 straight wins. Chardon, Boardman, and Cheney. Offensively, we know what they are. Ike Lake, shout out to Ike Lake having a big-time year. Senior running back having a big-time year. Quarterback Vince Gentile also having another good year. Offensively, they can kind of beat you both ways. I done seen them where they got in the old-school stack, double tight, 3 backs, and just run between the tackles and let Ike do what he do. And I also seen games a couple weeks ago, we talked about Vince, where Vince is 12 or 16 and 200-some yards and 3-4 touchdowns because they got the weapons to do that too. So offensively, they check every box, get offensive line. And then on the other side of the ball, keep an eye on Kingston Powell and John Brenner. I feel like those 2 kids kind of make the offense go. Kingston you could throw Kingston screens. You can hit him on some deep balls. Braden, shout out to Braden Bryant, but he can't play the rest of the year. So that's going to mean even more for Kingston to continue to keep balling. And I think the kid that's going to continue to get more opportunities being that Braden is out is John Brenner. So offensively, they kind of got almost everything they need. They got a good offense. And defensively, they got one of the best players in the area, which is Dom Letlow. But they also have one of the best front sevens in the area. Dom Letlow, Dewey Hurd, Kewan Dean, Rocco Zabel. Shout out to the crazy man, the lunatic. I'm saying that in a good way. Brady Desmond. I don't know if you've seen this kid play. He remind me of like the Feaster boy and them type of kids having the correct, proper football temperament. The kid is out there. He love football. He ain't out there trying to be your friend. That's just their front 7. They got a good front 7. In the back end, shout out to Jay Manningham, 4 interceptions last week. You got Kingston Powell also back there in the secondary with him. So Mooney got a good football team. Shout out to Coach Frank, and he gave me permission. I could just call him Coach Frank. So shout out to Coach Frank, doing a great job over there. He got a good staff assembled. And they're doing a good job being 5-2. I felt like when they lost those 2 back-to-back games, so that would have been week 3 and week 4. I feel like them winning 3 straight kind of speaks to the new resolve and how they the culture they kind of set moving forward. You know what I mean? To be able to get 3 straight wins after losing back-to-back is big. When you're dealing with high school kids. So that's just kind of a quick summary of Mooney. My coach's eye on Mooney for this Harding game is this, though, L. This is what I got. This is what I'm looking at. Can Mooney's front 7 dominate and take away Harding's run game? You know what I mean? To make Harding one-dimensional. If I'm playing Harding, I want to make you beat me throwing the ball. It's always easier to just put the ball in somebody's gut. And if we can block and make plays, they can do that. That's always easier to do from an offensive standpoint and always harder to take away. It's Warren G. Harding. We know they're young. They're 3-3. They got a lot of young kids playing. But I don't care what Warren G. Harding team you playing, what time, what century. They're going to always have 1 or 2 people they can hand the ball to that can go get jiggy. That ain't going to never change, bro. So if I'm Mooney, I want to be able to stop that run game and see whoever at quarterback, see if we can make them beat us with their arm. And then the second thing I'm looking at for Mooney is, do they prioritize tight end John Brenner more to get him the ball? Because in high school and even in college, but in high school, he's a mismatch. Kid 6'5", 225. He can run a little bit, can catch, he can block. You can kind of do some stuff with him, particularly in the red zone. If I'm playing a team that got small DBs or whatever, I'm going to flex him out to see who you're going to put out there with him. I'm going to flex him out to see who he's going to put out there with him. Now, am I going to do it at the opposing 20 and tell him to run a 60-yard go ball and throw it to him? No. But when we get in the red zone, we get in the fringe area or get in the red zone, now I'm going to move him around. If you playing two highs, middle open, I'm running him right down the seam. You playing single high close with a safety walk down, man-to-man or cover 3 that could turn into man-to-man in the red zone, I'm putting him flexed out. I might go trips with a nub, give me 3 receivers right here, then motion him out late. So that's the thing I'm looking at with Mooney. Do they prioritize that kid? Because he having a big-time senior year, and the kid is a weapon. And when you lose a kid like Braden Bryant, that ain't easy to replace. Nobody got Braden's speed, so you ain't going to be able to have his skill set. But they got other talented kids that could do something. And Jay Bellingham can make plays on offense too. So that's what I'm looking at from Mooney. On the other side, Harding coming off a tough loss versus Boardman. They 3-3. We're looking to get that first win against a really, really good football team. Not just for confidence and morale, but more importantly for the playoff seedings they needed. You know what I mean? So a win against Mooney, a win against Maslin, or a win against Fitch will be big for their playoff potential or playoff hopes moving forward. So that's the number one thing why this is a big game. Offensively, shout out to quarterback Amir Cobb. Stepped in since James Jones been out. The one thing I can say about the offense when man-man in there, just a lot more energy. You know what I mean? Kids like they're having fun, and it makes sense because they've been playing with man-man and knowing him, their whole life. So that makes sense. The thing that he really brings that stands out is he can make plays on his feet when he need to. You know what I mean? He ain't a burner. He ain't going to take it 100 yards. But he ain't no stiff. Man can make some plays with his feet. He quicker than you think for a kid that's bigger. He's a tough kid, and it's a senior year. The kid want to play. He bringing good energy and making plays with his feet. So that's the one thing I like about Amir Cobb being that quarterback. Shout out to the young guys, sophomore Makai Brogdon, freshman Tavy Hill, getting a chance to play a little bit more in the backfield, been making plays. And like I was saying to my point earlier, it's Warren, Ohio. I don't care if they're freshmen and sophomores, juniors and seniors, a 7th and 8th grader, somebody playing for the Little Panthers, somebody playing for the Little Raiders. Warren always going to have kids. You can put the ball in their belly. They can go to work. Bless you, brother. That ain't going to never change. So shout out to them young guys that have been making plays the last couple of weeks. We know I felt like all year, and I still feel like Harding has a solid group of receivers. I feel like Juju Farrell having a good senior year. I felt like Kai Blutcher been making plays when he had the opportunity. Matt Richardson is a solid receiver in that slot that could do some things. So they got a nice group of receivers. It's just a matter of, being a little more creative, getting them some better matchups, and kind of taking advantage of it. But they got the receivers outside that can make the plays. The thing I'm looking at, not in my coach's eye, but just talking about their offense, will they change the formations a little bit more emotions, just give something a little bit different. They need some more creativity. You can kind of just look at the formation they come out in and kind of know where they're trying to attack or what they're trying to do. And that's cool when you got a big-time football team with a lot of talent or you just the most talented team every week. It don't really matter. It matters, but you got to stop it. But when you playing the teams we playing, especially coming down this stretch with Mooney, Maslin, and Fitch, they got great staffs. They're going to be watching and breaking down film. So this is the perfect week to kind of break some tendencies. If we normally 85% in this formation, and we normally 100% in this formation when we run this play 100%, okay, let's show them this formation, but let's run these couple plays. So that's what I'm looking at from their offense to see if they can kind of get creative that way. Offensive line, they're going to have a good week this week. They're playing against one of the best front sevens in the area I just talked about. So offensive line, y'all got to have a good week. Defensively, I feel like senior linebacker Tyler Smith is having a good senior year. He making plays. I feel like in the back end, I feel like junior Elijah Phillips, he doing a good job at safety, coming down, playing the run game, getting some big hits. And Matt Richardson is solid at corner. So I feel like those two are having solid years in the secondary. I like what Tyler doing at the linebacker spot. Up front, Asa Birch and Xavion Smith, they kind of the same, and they can make some plays from the backside because they long and athletic. They can chase you down. They both got to get stronger and get better when teams just run it right at them. So that's something I'm going to be looking at from them two this week. But they're young. Harding is so young. And when I say that, most people think, freshmen and sophomores. Yeah, they're young. But even the juniors that's playing, a lot of them, this is their first time playing. A couple of them didn't start playing football till a couple years ago. You know what I mean? So even though you might look in the program and see, okay, this kid is a junior, yeah, but he might still really, football-wise, be a sophomore or a freshman based on reps, experience, especially playing at the varsity level. So It's a big-time game for Harding, like I talked about, because they need this game for playoff seedings. If they win this game, that'll help them out a lot. And my coach's eye, my two specific questions I got for Harding is, can the front seven hold up against Mooney offensive line and Ike Lake? We already know what Mooney going to come into town and want to do first. They want to run the ball. You know what I mean? I like Vince Gentile. He's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he ain't. But I can't let you be able to just have balance and run and throw on me when you want to. I got to take one of them away. So the number one thing is, can the front seven from Harding stop the run game or at least neutralize it? You know what I mean? That's the one thing I'm looking at. And can they create more turnovers also? Let's try to stop the run game. Let's get some turnovers, man. Let's help our offense out. Give us some short fields. Get a pick six. Get a fumble recovery. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I'm looking at. And then the other one I'm looking at is, can they be creative in the pass game? I kind of talked about that a couple minutes ago. As far as matchups, formations, I feel like they got three kids that can go make explosive play. We seen it. We seen Kai Bletcher catch a short pass and take it 75. We seen Juju Farrell pretty much at this point. It ain't 50-50 balls with him. It's kind of becoming like 80-20. He can make plays outside them numbers. Matt Richardson, to me, he's a good kid. He could find the opening in the zones. He could run. He good. He ain't scared to run digs or slants over the middle of the field, catch him, and he could make plays after the catch. So I feel like they're a solid group, but I feel like they got to help them out with the formations, creatively, and getting them proper matchups. That don't always mean one-on-one. Sometimes it might mean let's go empty and spread this defense out horizontally and let me get Matt working on his linebacker. I might just run him on the out route, stick route. But what that mean is Matt going to create separation. Now you got a Mike linebacker chasing Matt from 3 yards inside out. So a simple 5-yard route might turn into him getting 25. Just got to get a little bit more creative formationally to help them kids out to be able to make plays. So that's what I'm looking from Harding, my coach's eye from Harding, and that's what I'm kind of looking at as the game as a whole.
All right, Coach. Well, like just to caveat what you just mentioned about this game, I'm looking forward to seeing Mooney for the first time. Like we said weeks prior to their rejuvenized program, you know what I'm saying, they're bringing some sauce out with the Southside Misfits.
See that?
You know what I'm saying? They're getting saucy. So, you know what I'm saying, definitely looking forward to seeing Mooney for the first time in a couple years. Harding, on the other end, they 3-3. Cam McKinley, Perry, Boardman. I feel like that's fair. Okay, we're going to say you clean up some things from the Boardman game.
Right.
You clean up, you don't give up that long touchdown pass to close the half against Perry maybe. Maybe that game gets played out in the second half a little different. So those things after 6 games, I don't anticipate Harding being a victim to.
Right.
I feel like you said, they were young. That's what happens to people who young.
Yeah.
That's what
those thrown in the fire and you learn.
Those are the type of plays that happen when you playing young guys.
No doubt.
So 6 weeks into the season, I feel like they're in a position to where, look, you got a pride tour going on.
Right.
You got Mooney coming in, which is an old SVC rivalry. You got Fitch, old SVC rivalry, and then you get a chance to compete against a Maslin team. You get what I'm saying? So it's a pride tour for the next 3 weeks.
No doubt.
For the home team. So you know what I'm saying, it's been a fair season. A young team dealing with, of course, they're not exempt for injuries and things of that nature. So
last thing I will say, just to be fair. Because, we love Harding, whatever. They're playing a lot of young kids, which is true. But the coach in me, though, on the other side is saying, we're going into week 8.
For sure.
You don't get that excuse no more.
Not at all. And
you know what I mean? To be fair, to be objective, you know what I mean? We talking about Warren, and, personally, we know the kids. So, they young and they learning how to play. But, objectively speaking, you're going into week 8. So, you still young, but that ain't an excuse we can use no more.
You're right. And furthermore, not even so much as an excuse, but it's a great opportunity. You see, it's a great opportunity for some of those other players that you mentioned because of whether it be the injuries or whether it be just the shuffling around the players. You finding new money. You finding other players are getting opportunities to make plays. So, not to sound like we handling Harding with kitty gloves or nothing, but you actually in a good position. Nobody's expecting too much of you, but you done played enough football to where Elijah Phillips, he's been having a solid year.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, he picked 6, those scooping scores. Now those things start falling in favor for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to
Xavion Smith, Asa Birch, come off the edge and get a strip, get a sack, force fumble, pick it up, and take it in the crease.
And you know you can do it.
They need a couple of them plays.
And you know you can do it because y'all made those plays against Buchtel. Y'all made some of those. You know what I'm saying? So it won't be something that hasn't happened before.
Right.
It's just at a good time.
No doubt.
It's an opportunity. Like I said, I'll call it a pride tour.
No doubt.
It's a pride tour. These next 3 weeks, two historical Still Valley games, and then a rivalry game where you get to bang against
no doubt.
a team like Massillon. So I'm interested to see this Thursday night. It's been a short week.
Yep.
I know Harding ready to get that nasty taste out their mouth from the Boardman loss, and they get an opportunity to defend home field again.
Yep.
So we looking forward to how they respond. We seen Cam McKinley get the best of them at home. We seen Perry get the best of them at home.
And shout out to our guy G.G. Edmonds, kicker at Harding.
Yeah, you see that play?
His play against Boardman, even though they lost, his play against Boardman was the best play of the night. Both sides, Boardman or Harding, that was the best football play that happened in that night. And I ain't taking shots at nobody. I'm saying this honestly speaking. And anybody that go to the game know I'm honestly speaking. He's been the best player for Warren G. Harding this year.
Oh, I mean, I don't think you'll get much of an argument.
He's been the best player for
and to add to that, because
I'm saying that. Sorry, Al, and I'm saying that before you go. Sorry, brother. I'm saying that to give that kid love.
Yeah, for sure.
His love. I ain't taking it to throw shots at nobody. He's been the best football player as far as doing his job, what he asked to do. He's been consistent every Friday or Thursday in this matter or Saturday. So shout out to Gigi. Keep doing your thing. They're going to need you moving forward, but I want to give Gigi some love because he don't get a lot of love.
For sure. And just to add on to that is when your kicker is locked in, right? When your kicker is locked in, they could use a play like that to kind of like feed off that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Feed off that energy. So, yep, man, that's our Ellie House, our first game of the week. That's our Thursday, man. We spend a lot of time, but we always do for the home team. It's all
Bonus
good.
coverage.
Moving on to can we call this the meat and potatoes?
Yeah.
This the meat and potatoes?
For sure.
Our Ellie House game of the week, bonus coverage week. Glenville going over to Akron Hoban, man. What we got, Coach?
Say that again.
Yeah, you know it. The Tarblooders.
Say that again.
And the Knights.
Really, I said to say it again because, you ain't nothing else to say.
For sure.
Cleveland, Glenville, led by Coach Ginn, that great staff and the talented team he had. Coming to Hoban, Dow Field, to play against Coach Terrell and his amazing staff and team he got. Was that 2 years ago we was at that game? Mm-hmm. And it was a big-time football game. Number one thing I like about this game, Al, was both teams coming off bye weeks, idle weeks. Glenville game got canceled last week. I don't know why, not speaking on it, but they didn't play last week. Hoban had a bye. So I like that both teams are coming in off byes. You know what I mean? Both teams are fresh mentally and physically. Got a week off, get away from it for a day or two. Mm-hmm. Okay, your bodies recover. Okay, now let's throw a couple new plays in, a couple new coverages, blitzes, yada, yada, yada. So I know both teams coming in focused, energetic, and ready to rock. Both teams, I'm sure, got injuries. But of the kids that's just kind of banged up, I know they probably feel a lot better coming in this week. Glenville, they 4-2. They only 2 losses is to 2 state powers, Avon and St. Ed's. Avon was the Division II state champion last year, and previously to last year, St. Ed's had won, 4 in a row, Division I state title. So they got 2 wins against 2 state powers. And to me, they got the most impressive win we've seen in person this year, going on the road week 1 at Massillon, winning 33-27 in overtime. So offensively, Glenville checked every box. Talent-wise, every box is checked. Offensive line, quarterback, receivers, running backs, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, returners. So they check every box. Just start there. Offensively, they got a gamer in Arvell Nelson Jr. We seen him up close, kid having a great year. They really got 3 good running backs, but they dynamic duo right now, Ramel Phillips and Devon McDougal, having good years. You got Phillips, more of your scat back type, but he's a strong kid. You got McDougal, more of your bigger bruiser back, but the kid can run. He got some speed to him. Excuse me. So They doing their thing. Marquise Whipple and Jameer Perez lead a big, strong offensive line. You can check that box. And that receiver, Paulie Sadler, Amir Lemons, Gary Pritchett, Joseph Saffold, Duke McClendon. All 5 of those guys probably going to be playing Division I football at some point. So you check that box. Defensively, Perez, DeAndre Taylor. Shout out DeAndre Taylor having a big-time football year. Sincere Johnson, who arguably may be the best linebacker in the state and definitely one of the best linebackers in the country, period. And in the secondary, you loaded. You got a nice safety duo, Aaron Scales and C.J. Newell. They kind of the tone setters. They bring that energy from the safety spot. Not the biggest kids, but they bring that energy, that tone setter, that gamer mentality that we don't care who we playing, when we playing, we bringing it. And to start with them safeties, and then they got one of the best emerging young sophomore players in the country, in the whole country, in Jalen Edwards. The kid having that type of year at corner. So they check every box. We ain't got to talk about their talent. I'm going to go right to my coach's eye for Glenville, bro. So my coach's eye for Glenville, number 1, can they play a disciplined game with low penalties and no turnovers? Can we do that? You look over the years, period, but specifically this year, the games Glenville lose, it's a lot of penalties and some turnovers. So number 1, can they be disciplined with no turnovers, and low penalties? And then the second thing is, can they be explosive in special teams? That's what I want to see. Because we all know they got the boys that can punt return, kick return, whatever they're doing. But can they get 1 or 2 big plays in that special teams form? So those are the 2 questions I'm looking at. I don't need to talk about their talent. I've seen it. They got it. They check every box. I want to know if they could play a disciplined game, low penalties, no turnovers, and if they could be solid in special teams and give me a big play out of that. I feel like with their talent, you add all that together, it's probably going to be a good night for Glenville. You know what I mean? On the flip side, Hoban, same thing. They check every box. Everything you need in a high school football team, both of these teams check every box. They're coming off a win 19-14 at home against their rivalry in Walsh Jesuit. But like we was just saying, offensively, quarterback Nick Kinsey, I thought he looked good a couple weeks ago against Walsh Jesuit. Hoban let him throw it early, first downs, get the ball out of his hand, get him in a rhythm. And so later in the game, when they needed that game-winning drive, he made some big-time throws on that game-winning drive to get them in position, and then Braden Feaster took it from there. So I like what I seen from that kid in that game. They got a dynamic duo, Jace Henry, Braden Feaster, 2 bruiser-type backs that get better as the game go. Out wide, Peyton Cook, John Johnson, Jackson Calloway. A lot of people don't talk about Jackson, man. Jackson is a player, man. He ain't the biggest kid, but that kid make plays. Every time we had a Hoban game, he makes a play. So shout out to Jackson. And then up front, Sam Greer and Braylon Parker, leading the offensive line, big, strong offensive line. When the game on the line, I ain't saying nothing that the other coaches don't know. We know where they're running at. Running behind them 2 guys, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to get it done. Defensively, shout out to senior Ace Brown. Ace having a big-time year, already got over 10 sacks. Ace is a menace coming off that edge. He got the game-sealing sack a couple weeks ago against Walsh Jesuit. So Ace is a menace coming off that edge. You got the Feaster brothers at linebacker. We talked about Brayton enough on this show. We just talked about Squeak in the Stella stock report. So we know what they bring. They both can run and hit, and they both bring that contagious temperament that you want your teammates to feed off of. And in the secondary, we already know about Rock Hill, 5 interceptions on the year, 5-star going to USC. But the kid that caught our eye was Jaden Daniels a couple weeks ago. 2 interceptions against Walsh Jesuit. Good ball skills. The kid can play. And then you add in there versatile safety nickel, Antonio Williams, who's just a good football player. They check every box also. So both teams check every box, talent-wise, coaches, and everything. So my 2 questions for Hoban, my coach's eye, what I'm looking at for Hoban, was this. Offensively, will they continue to be aggressive on first down and getting their playmakers the ball early in the game? I thought that's one good thing they did against Walsh Jesuit. They don't always have to turn into big touchdowns at that point. But what you got to do is let the defense know, okay, they ain't just about to hand the ball off every play. We kind of got to be on alert. Oh, man, they hit Jackson Calloway. Oh, my God, they gave a reverse to Peyton Cook. Oh, here come another reverse to Rock Hill. Oh, it's a deep shot to John Johnson. So I felt like that's something they did against Walsh Jesuit, and that helped out Nick Kinsey be in rhythm when they really needed him to step up, and he did that. So that's the first thing I'm looking at. And the second thing I'm looking at, every Hoban game I go to, this kid play a big part, and they ain't going to change, I don't think, on Friday. and that's kicker Jeremy Hamill. Will he come up big again? Every Hoban game we've been at, bro, the kid made big-time kicks and either was on the field to make it for the game or made the field goal to tie or bring him closer or something. He always has a big-time kick that's coming up in the game. So that's the two things I'm looking at. Offensively, will they continue to be creative, especially on first down, and get their playmakers the ball? And then will kicker Jeremy Hamill come up big again in this type of game?
For sure, man. I listen. Hoban, Glenville, I don't have nothing to add.
Yeah.
I don't got nothing to add, man. Friday night.
That's it.
You get what I'm saying?
Dow Field.
Dow Field.
7
Face
o'clock.
it be in a place.
Yeah.
Straight like that. That's
Straight
it.
like that, bro.
You know, that's our Ellie House game of the week.
You know,
Shout out to our sponsor, the Ellie House. Shout out to Phillips Care Trainer, and shout out to Annex Events. For
Sorry
sure.
about that. No doubt.
All right, coach, it's that time.
What you got for me, bro?
Stay locked in between the lines and Coach Stella.
Ticket at guess.